Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy, Sports and Fitness Rants? I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back, guys. Man, welcome back. Got another great video for you guys today, as usual, man. You guys know the deal on this channel, man. It's all about setting the record straight, stopping the lies, stopping the narratives, man. And once again, man, we got to hold the standard and set the record straight on Shaquille O'Neal again. Damn it, man. I'm so tired of this dude, Shaq, now. And I like Shaq. Like, this is crazy to me, man. I got to do these videos on this fool. This dude don't shut up. And he's out here attacking Victor Wembanyama now. I mean, Shaq, you're a class individual, man. Where's your class at, dude? Where's your honor? And he's talking about Victor Wembanyama. And I saw 2 Raw did a video a couple days back about the comments that Shaq made about ranking Victor Wembanyama number 31. And now Shaq doubled down. He responded now to the criticism or the backlash of him having Victor Wembanyama ranked 31 on his player rankings. Who gives a damn about Shaq's player rankings? I mean, let's be honest here. But he has Victor Wembanyama ranked 31, and he doubled down on it. And he had some nonsensical comments about Victor Wembanyama not winning. And he has to win and earn. I don't know what Shaq's talking about. Shaq, once again, he forgets his own career. He tries to, literally, Shaq is the worst player at trying to rewrite history, guys. And this is why it pisses me off about him. And why I'm losing all respect for Shaquille O'Neal, man. Like, dude, what are you talking about? And we're going to talk about this video, the comments he made about Victor Wembanyama in response to him having him ranked 31 in the NBA currently. And I want to thank you guys, everyone across the world, everyone across the states, man. You guys know the deal, man. I am truly humbled by all the support, guys. It means a lot. Much respect to all you guys out there, everybody in the membership. Thank you guys for rolling with me, for standing up, man. And you guys know what to do. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember, these videos are for educational purposes. And let's roll. So, yes, guys, excuse me for a second. So, yes, guys, like I said, man, I tell you, boy, this dude, Shaquille O'Neal, he's relentless, man, when it comes to the nonsensical takes, when it comes to him just always trying to tear down, you know, these up-and-coming big men. Whoever it is, you know, Rudy Gobert and him have their beef, and him and Dwight Howard had their beef. And, you know, now it seems like he's attacking Victor Wembanyama and his ranking in the NBA. So, like I said, I saw a video that 2 Raw did. Shout out to my man 2 Raw. Like I said, the legend 2 Raw. Much respect to him. He did a video on the comments that Shaq made about or his ranking of Victor Wembanyama at 31. That's where he had Victor Wembanyama in the current NBA, number 31. And like I said, wherever Shaq has him ranked is irrelevant. I really don't give a damn about what Shaq has him ranked. But Shaq responded to some of the criticism, I guess, and he stood on his comments. He doubled down and he said, yeah. And I should have wrote down exactly what he said, guys. The screenshot or the thumbnail of this video is exact words. But he said something to the effect of Victor Wembanyama has to win. He didn't make the playoffs his rookie year. He has to win to earn it, to get that status. And there's some other nonsense. I don't know what Shaq's talking about. He's just making nonsensical statements, man. And when I saw the comments, I immediately, once again, start to cringe. Because when Shaquille O'Neal speaks about other players, he speaks about himself. Once again, Shaquille O'Neal seems to forget his own place in history. He seems to forget his own career. I don't understand these guys. Like, what are you getting out of speaking about yourself? And like I said, trying to pump up yourself, your career, when we know what really happened and how your career really went down. And Shaq's an all-time great player. I told you, he's probably a top 15, top 20 player. To me, somewhere along those lines. I know some of you guys say that Shaq is in your top 10. To me, there's no argument for Shaq being a top 10 player. I just don't see it. But regardless, man, Shaquille O'Neal has lost all respect for me, man, with the way that he's been speaking over the last several years. And like I said, as it relates to the other up-and-coming big men, now listen, man, the beef for him and Dwight Howard's whatever. I don't really like Dwight Howard that much either. But when he says things about Dwight Howard not being a Hall of Famer or things of that nature, once again, Shaq is not being honest, and he's not educating people, because Dwight Howard is easily a Hall of Fame basketball player, man. He easily had a Hall of Fame career. I don't even think there's any question about that. But Shaq will tell you otherwise. When Shaq talks about Rudy Gobert the way he does, and he's like the worst player in NBA's history, or whatever the case may be, once again, Shaq is speaking in hyperbole. He's over-exaggerating things. And when Shaq speaks about himself, he over-exaggerates. I'm the most dominant player in history. No, you're not. You're not even close to the most dominant player in NBA history. You might be the most physically dominant, maybe the most physically dominant, yes, but dominant, no. You have to put physically in front of that because you're not more dominant than Michael Jordan. You weren't more dominant than Bill Russell. You weren't more dominant than Wilt Chamberlain. You weren't more dominant than a lot of these other great players that were dominating. You weren't more dominant than John Stockton was and whatever he did great on the basketball court and playmaking assists, right? Like, what are we saying here? Were you as dominant as Moses Malone on the offensive rebounds? Were you as dominant as Dennis Rodman was on the glass? Were you as dominant as the Dikembe Mutombo or a Hakeem Olajuwon on the defensive end? No, you were not. So where's the dominance at from Shaquille O'Neal? I don't know, but he loves to say how dominant he was, once again pumping himself up. But he made these comments about having Victor Wembanyama ranked 31, whatever. But then he doubles down and proceeds to talk about Victor Wembanyama not making the playoffs, not leading them to the postseason, and how he has to earn it, and blah, 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 blah. So once again, I asked Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq, did you make the playoffs your rookie year? No, he didn't, guys. And some people don't even realize that. I said this a couple of weeks ago on the Sunday live stream when we were talking about Shaquille O'Neal. And I said, Shaq did not make the playoffs his rookie season. And one of the Shaquille O'Neal fans tried to tell me he did. Go look it up. The Orlando Magic and the Indiana Pacers finished with the identical record in the AFC, 41-41 identically, right? But it was the Indiana Pacers that had the tie break over the Orlando Magic. So the Orlando Magic did not make the playoffs in Shaquille O'Neal's rookie season. So he's talking about Victor Wembanyama not making the playoffs, and I get it. Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs, they were not that good. They were a bad team this past season. But once again, when Shaquille O'Neal says you have to make the playoffs, you didn't make the playoffs. Well, Shaq, you didn't make the playoffs your rookie season either, my man. And regardless of what your record was or you guys didn't get in because of a tie break, you did not make the playoffs your rookie season. And if we take it a step further and we look at the teammates that you had on your team, once again, Shaq had some quality players. He had Nick Anderson on that team. He had Dennis Scott on that team. He had Scott Skiles on that team, who to this day still has the record for most assists in an NBA game. Scott Skiles, guys, I believe it was 30, if I remember correctly. Scott Skiles, he was a quality point guard from the 90s, guys. A quality guy. Not one of the main guys. He wasn't a Mark Price or a Kevin Johnson, a Gary Payton, one of those kinds of guys. But he was behind the other guys. He was behind the Terry Porters, the Mark Jacksons. You would have someone like a Scott Skiles. But you had a good team there. You had guys like Tree Rollins there. Remember, Tree Rollins was there to be a mentor to someone like a Shaquille O'Neal who came in at 20 years old. But remember, Shaq played 3 years in college and came out. 3 years in college. This wasn't Shaq playing 1 year at LSU and then coming into the NBA. Played 3 years in college, like many players did back in them days. They played 3-4 years in college. So Shaq came to the Orlando Magic with a decent team. They were not a good team, but they had decent players that Shaq could have galvanized and built up around them. And Shaq did that. They went from 21 wins the year before to 41 wins. So you had a 20-win improvement, bringing in a Shaquille O'Neal, like I said, and some of these other guys that were on that team. So much respect to Shaquille O'Neal. But when he talks about Victor Wembanyama making the playoffs, Shaq, you did not make the playoffs your rookie season. You did not lead the Orlando Magic with those players that I named to the playoffs. Can someone name me the players that Victor Wembanyama was playing with last season? He wasn't playing with great household names or big-time players. He was playing with young talent, with guys that have potential, but have not proven. Jeremy Sokan, like some of these guys, a Vassal, like you don't even know these guys. So once again, Shaq's acting like Victor Wembanyama was playing on a team with other all-stars or veteran players that were there to fill a role. Like now he has Chris Paul this season, right? And they missed the playoffs. There were also rumors going around that the Spurs were tanking on purpose. And I wouldn't put it past the Spurs because they're shrewd business, a shrewd team like that. There's a shrewd move from a Spurs organization if that's in fact a true statement. But these are some of the rumors that I heard last season that they were tanking on purpose. But let's think about Victor Wembanyama and the season he had individually. And once again, the expectations that Shaq is trying to put on a first-year player, the guy played 1 season. It ain't like Victor Wembanyama been in the league 3-4 seasons and they never made the playoffs. He was in the league 1 year. He was on a team that wasn't good in a tough Western Conference, and they didn't make the playoffs. Okay, neither did Shaquille O'Neal his rookie season. And like I said, to me, Shaq probably had more help on his rookie team than Victor Wembanyama had on his rookie squad. But let's think about the individual seasons that they had. They both won Rookie of the Year, right? Victor Wembanyama was sensational. So was Shaquille O'Neal. But Victor Wembanyama finished second in the Defensive Player of the Year award voting, guys. Second. Shaquille O'Neal never finished second in Defensive Player of the Year award, not even once in his career. Victor Wembanyama did that as a rookie, and not only a rookie, but a foreign rookie. Not from America. He's a foreign-born player. He's a European player, and it's his first year in the NBA. And the man was second Defensive Player of the Year award as a rookie. We all know he probably should have won Defensive Player of the Year award, but they gave it to that goofball Rudy Gobert for whatever reason. Shaq never sniffed a Defensive Player of the Year award. Victor Wembanyama probably should have won one last year, but as a rookie, was greater on defense than Shaquille O'Neal. And Shaquille O'Neal was a solid defensive player in Orlando. I've told you guys this. He was a great athlete in Orlando, and when he got to the Lakers, he fell off defensively. He fell off rebounding-wise. He didn't keep himself in shape. He didn't move as good on the Lakers as he did in Orlando those first 4 years in the league. But when you look at their rookie seasons individually, Victor Wembanyama was greater on both sides of the ball. He was better. He was a better two-way player than Shaquille O'Neal was. He just was. And once again, when we think about the size of Shaquille O'Neal, he had an advantage over Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama is still developing, man. You see how skinny and frail his body is? The way that he's built, like his frame. He's very frail. He has to develop more. So once again, this goes to Victor Wembanyama calling out these NBA players, right? We talked about it yesterday because of the work that he's putting in the offseason, the work he's putting in on his body, on his game, to be there for 82 games. Shaq never played 82 games, not even one time. So once again, Shaq underachieved in many avenues, in many ways. And Shaq still continues to talk as if he won 10 championships, has 5 MVPs. Like I said, he talks himself up in a way that's really awkward. And like I said, it's cringeworthy, the things that he says. I don't know why Shaquille O'Neal continues to talk about some of these big men like this and continues to make up scenarios and act as if these things are not happening to him. For him to say that Victor Wembanyama has to make the playoffs or he didn't make the lead team to the playoffs his rookie year when you didn't do the same thing. And like I said, I could argue that you had more help than Victor Wembanyama did. And when we think about Shaquille O'Neal's career in general, Shaquille O'Neal made the playoffs on the Orlando Magic his second year. And who came his second season? The dude got Anthony Penny Hardaway. Anthony Penny Hardaway was his teammate in his second season. Shaquille O'Neal acts like he was out there by himself. Dude, you had Penny Hardaway. Shaq has played with a lot of talent, man, in his career. And he once again speaks and talks as if he's been carrying franchises. He's been carrying teams. He hasn't played with any kind of quality players. This is what he's making it seem like. I'm the most dominant. Dude, you play with Penny Hardaway, and that's when you guys made the playoffs. That's when you made the playoffs. You had a very good team around you. Right? Think about all the talent that Shaq played with on the Lakers. Right? Kobe Bryant, who they love to tear down. Oh, Shaq carried Kobe Bryant. Shaq didn't carry anybody. He couldn't even carry the Orlando Magic's rookie season to the playoffs. He never carried any team anywhere. When Shaq made a postseason run, he had great players with him, great teams with him. And he was great himself. But he had Kobe, Penny Hardaway, Nick Anderson, Eddie Jones, Nick Van Exel, Rick Fox, Horace Grant. I mean, my goodness. What are we talking about here? He played with Dwayne Wade, Gary Payton, Alonzo Mourning, Jason Williams. Like, what are we saying here? Shaq played with all kinds of talent. He played with Steve Nash later in his career, Amari Stoudemire. We get all that stuff later down the road. He played in the Boston Celtics. You guys remember he played with them guys in the Boston Celtics. Shaq played with a lot of talent, man, in his career. A lot of talent. And Shaq has underachieved, like I said, in many avenues. Victor Wembanyama led the league in blocks last season. Shaq never led the league in blocks a single year in his career. Never led the league in blocks a single time in his career. And part of that went to the fact that he played in the 90s with some of the greatest shot blockers in the history of the game. The Dikembes, the Olajuwons. You know, these guys were in the league. Alonzo Mourning, Patrick Ewing, David Robinson. These are some of the premier shot blockers, not just of that era, but in the history of the game. But in the 2000s, Shaq never led the league in blocks. Guys like Marcus Camby did, right? Not Shaquille O'Neal. So Victor Wembanyama led the league in blocks his rookie season. Shaq never did that. So he's already accomplished something on the defensive end. Shaq never did. Never did. And like I said, he finished second in Defensive Player of the Year award. Probably should have won it. Shaq never sniffed that. And Victor Wembanyama is going to be a force on the defensive end for years to come. Made the all-defensive team. Shaq has made, I believe, 3 all-defensive teams in his career. 3. Victor Wembanyama, I'm pretty sure, is going to blow past that number, or he should blow past that number. So once again, guys, these are the facts here. I'm getting tired of hearing from Shaquille O'Neal and the negative things that he has to say about some of the guys. And Victor Wembanyama, what has Victor Wembanyama done? The dude's carried himself with class. He's carried himself with the honor. There's no honor in what you're saying, Shaq. Because once again, you're not living in reality. You did not make the playoffs your rookie season. You didn't win any MVPs in the 90s. Not one MVP award for Shaquille O'Neal in the 90s. Not one. Didn't make any all-defensive teams, I believe, in the 90s. Didn't make an all-NBA first team until 1998. 98. When guys like Hakeem and Ewing were getting older. Mutombo. They were getting older. He's over here talking about Victor Wembanyama, got to make the playoffs, got to lead these guys, got to do X, Y, Z. He's in his second season. Second season. And he ain't playing with Penny Hardaway. He's playing with Chris Paul. Huge difference. Huge difference. And that year that they went to the playoffs in 1994, they got swept by the Indiana Pacers in the first round. The Orlando Magic. Swept. Right? Shaquille O'Neal going against Rick Smits. They got swept. Shaq won't bring that up, though. This dude's not living in reality, man. Like I told you, I'm losing all respect for Shaquille O'Neal and a lot of these ex-NBA players and a lot of these guys that love to speak about themselves in a way that's not accurate. There's no honor in you trying to rewrite history and pumping yourself up. There's no humility here. Where's the humility from Shaquille O'Neal? Stop talking about Victor Wembanyama, man. Just shut your mouth. Nobody wants to hear from you anymore, Shaq. Nobody wants to hear a damn word you got to say. Talk about something else. Talk about your businesses or something. Talk to the people out there about being a better businessman. I mean, because your basketball talk is garbage. Garbage. These guys, like I said, they're not holding on to the integrity. So you're not honoring the game. Victor Wembanyama is doing just fine. He's in his second NBA season. And you're talking about he hasn't made the playoffs. He didn't make the playoffs last year. Okay. Neither did you your rookie season. Guy's a goof, man. Once again, Shaquille O'Neal can't sniff Wembanyama on the defensive end. Shaq should have been an all-time, or should be, recognized as one of the all-time great defenders. But no one does recognize Shaq that way, do they? If Victor Wembanyama continues to play the way that he's playing on both sides of the ball, he's going to be recognized as one of the all-time great defenders at that position. He's going to be recognized as a great defensive player than Shaquille O'Neal. Once again, you guys know these are the facts here, man. Shaq not living in reality, man. And once again, he has bad or negative things to say about another center. This is Shaq's thing now. Any center that, he feels is getting too much hype or getting too much praise or whatever the case may be, Shaq's got to come out and say something about it. And he has Victor Wembanyama ranked 31 in the NBA. How do you justify that? If you're justifying it by saying that he didn't make the playoffs, he's got to win, they got to be better. They only won, 20 games or whatever they won. Once again, Shaquille O'Neal's not living in reality. Victor Wembanyama's on a young team that doesn't have a bunch of talent around them. Like I said, was the organization, right, cutting off Victor Wembanyama at the knees? Were they tanking on purpose? Shaq didn't make the playoffs his rookie season, and he had a significant, or to me, more help than Victor Wembanyama did. And once again, the Western Conference was a tough conference this past season for a Spurs team. Like I said, with the young players they have, Victor Wembanyama in his first year, he started a very good season. Like I said, he was Rookie of the Year, almost won Defensive Player of the Year award as a rookie, right? And once again, he's calling out players now. He comes from France, right? Showing them mental toughness, showing some integrity, showing some honor, and showing humility. Shaq has no humility anymore. Shaq thinks he's this greatest businessman, which he is a very great businessman. He's made a lot of money for himself. But these guys they're confused here. They think because they have money that they were successful off the court, successful businessmen, that can allow them to rewrite history in their basketball careers. It makes no sense. And once again, where's the humility from Shaquille O'Neal or any of these guys for that matter? There's no humility. Every chance that they get, they want to pump themselves up or they want to tear down somebody with lies and narratives. This is why I laugh when they try to throw out these critiques. oh, I got this player this. And then you want them to explain why they have them there, and they can't explain it. Shaq can't explain or give you any real, like I said, explanation to have Victor Wembanyama number 31 in the NBA. He'll just tell you that he didn't make the playoffs. He's got to be better. He has to be better. He was a rookie, man. He's going to get better. He wants to get better. That's the whole point. He's putting in the work to be better. Shaq, you did not do that. You did not put in the work to be better. You rested on your laurels. And once again, you allowed yourself to get out of shape. You never worked on your game like that. The free throw shooting never got better for Shaquille O'Neal. Victor Wembanyama can shoot free throws. He don't have that problem, Shaquille O'Neal. But he wants somebody he has to be better. You needed to be better a lot of times, Shaq. But you weren't better. You didn't want to come into camp in shape. You didn't want to give the effort like that. You didn't want to hustle on defense and go after those rebounds and try to be a great defensive player. You didn't want to do that. You wanted to make music videos and movies and commercials. And I get all that. That's great. But then you can't come back all these years later now and try to rewrite the history. You were an underachiever. You did not live up to the potential. You're an all-time great player, but you left something in the tank. You did. So how dare you come out here and talk about Victor Wembanyama needs to be better after his rookie season when he won Rookie of the Year, the second Defensive Player of the Year award, made the all-defensive team, led the league in blocks. Something you never did as a rookie. He wants to be better. He has to be better. The Spurs need to be better. But Shaq, come on, man. You didn't make the playoffs your rookie season either. And you only made the playoffs the next year because you got Penny Hardaway. And you guys got swept in the first round. Then you got swept again in 95 in the finals, and then swept again in 96 in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Orlando Magic, with Shaq as the leader, were the first team since the 1950 Chicago Stags to be swept in 3 straight consecutive playoff series. 3 straight consecutive playoff rounds every year. They got swept 3 years in a row. The first team since 1950 to do that. That's Shaquille O'Neal there. Be talking about Victor Wembanyama's got to be better. Got to make the playoffs. No duh, Shaq. You ain't saying nothing, man. Your basketball acumen is lacking. The basketball talk from Shaquille O'Neal, cringeworthy. I'm embarrassed for Shaquille O'Neal, and I'm embarrassed, like I said, for a lot of these guys that speak now. Victor Wembanyama's got to be better. He got to make the playoffs. He was better on defense as a rookie than you ever were, Shaq. That's sad, man. That's sad. You guys know the deal, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.